Good morning, Kent House, and a special hello to everyone in Year 1. Today I'm going to finish reading Free the Whales by Jamie Wicks. Now, in the first 2 chapters, we met Alistair McAllister, and he loved his Free the Whales t-shirt, which had 3 whales on the front of it called Willy, Wally and Walter. And he wore it so much it was getting so stinky that even the Prime Minister had sent a letter to his house asking him to take the t-shirt off. So let's see what happens next. Chapter 3. Alistair McAllister's mother sat Alistair McAllister down and described the terrible weapons that the army would use to destroy his favourite t-shirt if he didn't let her wash it. "Flamethrowers?" gasped Alistair McAllister. "You're not serious?" His mother nodded. "And tanks," she added, "and stealth bombers." Alistair McAllister rushed upstairs to his bedroom and locked the door. "I won't let them take you away," he cried to Willy, Wally and Walter, as an army helicopter dropped out of the sky and hovered outside his window. "Alistair McAllister!" boomed the voice of the pilot over the helicopter's loudspeaker. Alistair McAllister's mother was banging on the door. "Take off your t-shirt and hand it to your mother for washing. Do this now and no harm will come to you." "Do as they say," she begged. "If the army takes your t-shirt by force, you'll never see the whales again." "But I don't want to lose them," sobbed Alistair McAllister. "Then let me wash the t-shirt," pleaded his mother. "Slide it under the door and I'll send the helicopter away." Alistair McAllister turned to the mirror with tears in his eyes. The whales, however, were still smiling. "I'm sorry," he sniffed, "but this is for your own good." Then he struggled out of his grime-stiffened t-shirt and posted it under the door into his mother's grateful hands. Chapter 4. The washing machine sloshed and churned like a whirlpool. Alistair McAllister sat on the kitchen floor and watched his favourite t-shirt tumble in and out of view. He could see Willy, Wally and Walter diving in and out of the white water waves while the bright red slogan on the front of the t-shirt flashed past the thick glass door like a stuttering image in a magic lantern. "Free the whales! Free the whales! Free the whales!" When the wash had gone full cycle and the machine had gently purred to a halt, Alistair McAllister's mother clipped open the rubber-sealed door and removed the t-shirt. It was whiter than white. It sparkled like a bank of freshly fallen snow and smelled like a sea of butter-kissed flowers in a newly mown meadow. "There, now that wasn't so hard, was it?" she said, as she flapped the wrinkles out of the t-shirt. Alistair McAllister allowed himself a smile. "Not hard at all," he agreed. "Can I put it back on now?" "When it's dry," said his mother, turning the t-shirt over to smooth out the front. Alistair McAllister caught his breath. "Where are Willy, Wally and Walter?" he choked with horror. "Where are my whales?" The front of the t-shirt was blank. The whales had washed off, and in place of the original bright red slogan, there was a new message which read, "The whales are free." An emergency plumber was called to dismantle the washing machine in case Willy, Wally and Walter were stuck inside. But he found nothing. "They've probably been sucked into the drains," said the plumber, using his expert knowledge of the sewage system to solve the mystery of the missing mammals. We remember what a mammal is from our science learning last term. "Then they're lost forever," howled Alistair McAllister. "Oh, I shouldn't think so," said the plumber. "The drains lead directly into the River Thames." Chapter 5. In a flash of blinding light, all became clear to Alistair McAllister. He stopped crying, jumped off to the floor, and bundled his mother into the car. "Drive east," he ordered. "But why?" she asked, as they swerved through the traffic. "Because the whales are free," grinned Alistair McAllister, quoting the t-shirt. "Don't you see? They're not on my t-shirt." They're not in the washing machine, and they're not in the drains. They're in the river, heading out to sea. The car clipped a concrete bollard and swerved across the oncoming traffic as Alistair McAllister grabbed the steering wheel out of his mother's hand. "The river's down there," he shouted, redirecting the car towards the choppy grey water. "I know," yelled his terrified mother, whose eyes were popping out on stalks. "Alistair, let go! That's the pavement!" Too late. The wheels bumped up to the curb, sending 3 hubcaps spinning into the gutter and giving a puddle-bathing pigeon the shock of its life. "Alistair, you're going to kill us!" But Alistair McAllister wasn't listening. He had eyes only for the water. "Can you see them?" he cried as the car trundled along the pavement, nudging a sleeping fisherman into the river. "There! Mum, look! Over there!" "Stop!" As the car screeched to a halt, Alistair McAllister leapt out. His little legs buckled as they hit the moving pavement. He tumbled forward in a whirlwind of flying arms and legs and scrambled up the wall that ran along the riverbank. "Willy, Wally, Walter!" he cried, waving to the 3 glistening black humps that cut through the water like warm-blooded submarines. "They're alive!" he whooped, his head bursting with joy. "I told you they would be." "Haven't they grown?" said his mother. "Well, of course they have," laughed Alistair McAllister. "We've set them free." A shiver of excitement ran down his spine like a fizzing sparkler. Seeing the whales free gave him much more pleasure than having them printed on his t-shirt. He turned back towards the river and gazed at his 3 beautiful friends. Their blowholes shot plumes of sparkling water high into the air as they swam towards the sea. Suddenly his mother pointed upriver and cried, "They're too big! They're going to get stuck under Tower Bridge." Alistair McAllister followed her gaze, and his heart skipped a beat. His mouth went dry. "Willy, Wally, Walter!" he croaked. "Turn around!" But the wind whipped his words into the gathering storm clouds and the whales kept swimming. "We've got to help them," he urged his mother. "They'll die if we don't. Come on, run!" He grabbed his mother's hand and dragged her along the towpath towards the bridge. His lungs were bursting as he sprinted to the foot of the tower where the man who operated the bridge's lifting mechanism worked. Chapter 6. "There are whales coming up the Thames," he shouted as the bearded man poked his head out of the tiny top window. "Lift the bridge." The man gasped with surprise as he spotted 3 gleaming humps in the water. Ducks he was used to, but whales were unusual. "There's not enough time," he bellowed. "They're travelling too fast." Alistair McAllister burst into tears. "It's their only chance," he begged, glancing nervously at the looping Levithians. That means whales. The man in the tower knew this to be true. "Hold on tight, then," he hollered, breaking every rule in the book. The ground under Alistair McAllister's feet started to slip away as the bridge split down the middle. 2 halves opened up just like a snake's jaw and rose into the sky. His mother screamed as she slid down the bridge towards the water. "Grab onto the safety rails," cried Alistair McAllister as he clung on for dear life himself. "Help!" screeched his mother. "I can't hold on forever." "The whales are coming!" Alistair shouted. She didn't have to. Willy, Wally and Walter were now directly below the bridge, their fins scraping along the metal struts which underpinned the broken road. Then with a rolling dive they glided gracefully through the arch and headed downstream. "Goodbye!" shouted Alistair McAllister. This time the wind was kind to his words and carried them down to the water's edge where the 3 whales could hear them. They rolled over onto their backs and smiled up at the tiny dangling figure off the yawning bridge. Alistair McAllister waved one arm for all it was worth, and the cute killer whales flapped their flippers in reply. Then they were gone. With a flick of their sleek tails, they plunged into the depths and swam towards the sea and freedom. When the bridge had been lowered and his mother had stopped screaming, Alistair McAllister gave her a kiss. "Can I have a new t-shirt now?" he asked. "Not with whales on," she said firmly. So they bought one with a picture of Tower Bridge on instead, because bridges, unlike whales, are happy to stay in one place all of their lives. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story, Kent House. I really enjoyed reading that to you. And stay safe and have a lovely time at home.